and thought, you know what? Let's record it. We chat
Yeah, I
about
mean,
interesting stuff. Let's fucking
yeah,
record it.
it's all the way back to the beginning. We're just chilling in a Discord channel talking shit. I mean, Bitcoin's about to hit 100K. I'm
Our boy
moving.
Gary's stepping down.
Gary's stepping down. And yeah, I'm moving out of this place, so I wanted to just get some more episodes in before we move on to a new era of From A to Z. But yeah, like we just have to catch up on the news. Like it's like the bear market was weird, just because I feel like we did a lot. We were moving along with everything. And then like to be honest, like I just wanted to take a break. I did the like variations on a theme, the art and AI stuff, and to be honest, it was kind of depressing. Like when I got into the AI stuff and the art, and I just thought about it from that perspective, like for too long, it was like, this is exhausting.
Yeah, go
And
back to making the art. Go back to
yeah,
the feel good stuff.
yeah, and so I took a break, and then like we had a mini bull run at the beginning of 24, and that's actually like I guess that was right after I did variations that we started to have a bull run, and I called it then. I put it on Lens and I said, "Man, this doesn't feel deserved. This doesn't feel like cuz it was even like pre-having pre the Bitcoin halving. So before the Bitcoin ETF, everything started to blow up. And I mean, I'm guessing a lot of it was we blew up on the ETF possibility. And then we had the meme coin run and Solana run up, and it was just a wild little like mini bull. And if you look at the charts, Bitcoin never really went back down. Like everything else went back down, but Bitcoin kind of held. You know what I mean? Like I want to say Bitcoin ranged pretty good between 50 and 60 throughout that whole like, you know, come down off of that little bull run.
Yeah.
Like by the time the ETH ETF launched, everything was already cool again. So the ETH ETF got no fuel in its fire because it was like the bull was already over. The little like mini bull.
I wonder if that was institutions positioning, like, oh, we see what's coming. Buy the dip. I know there was huge inflows just recently, like a couple billion in institutional, like overnight demand. Plus, of course, Sailor bought another, what, 4.5 billion worth?
Man, what
Yeah.
if like yeah, that Michael Saylor, that guy, like I've been talking about him a lot, and even Bankless said the other day like Michael Saylor is becoming the main character, and that can't be good. You know what?
Yeah, it's too centralized.
Well, when you like the main characters of every bull market are always the reason that the bear market happens. Like they fly too close to the sun.
Yeah. And everybody can see them, and down they come. Yeah, well, let's hope, because something like that, let's say if MicroStrategy is going to be that instance, if that's the catalyst that tips us into the next bear market, it would only be because Bitcoin goes down, right? That's the only thing they touch.
Yeah.
So if he is the star of the show and the cause of the collapse, it's because he's holding a lot of Bitcoin, which means something goes wrong with Bitcoin, not
Or because we
micro.
find out somehow that he's not actually holding that Bitcoin. That he's pulling some
That's
leverage.
the one we're used to. That's the one we're used to.
Right. There's some paper
Damn it.
Bitcoin in there. There's something going on. There's some tomfoolery. Um,
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know, but you know what? It's too early in the bull market to be talking about the bear market.
Yeah, we
But
got some up only to do first.
up
We
only
got some.
because I mean this is the BT dominance zone where like Bitcoin is ruling its roost. It is head and shoulders above everything else right now. And I mean, a lot of meme coins are ripping. Solana's ripping.
Solana's hitting all-time highs.
Yes. So
Solana ETFs are in the talks, or may have already been presented. There may be already one request for a Solana ETF.
yeah, I think there was already like months ago actually. So we'll see how that goes.
Solana's popping off. Yeah, still not for me. Pass.
um yeah, and then that brings up a good point. Like, man, what is ETH doing? Like
ETH does this though. Like I remember, this is not my first cycle. There is way more jagged movement in the price corrections, like both up and down, with Ethereum than the other alts and Bitcoin at the time. You get these big mountainous spikes. So when it changes, it's gonna go off. But like, where's our? I want to pop off. Where's our jump? I want to go fast.
No, you're right. It's gonna happen. I think that everybody is kind of talking about this, but like the ETH narrative is weird. I also think that, to be totally honest, I think that it's all FUD. Like, because the reality is you've got Base, you've got Kraken. You know what I mean? Like, the big exchanges are building on Ethereum. You got BlackRock doing its BUIDL fund on Ethereum. So like everybody is building on Ethereum. Like even like Coinbase Bitcoin is Ethereum. Like, you know what I mean?
And that's big news. That's big news in and of itself. Because
Right.
not only is Coinbase, I don't want to get too sidetracked, but yeah, it's Wrapped Bitcoin is winding down, and Coinbase Bitcoin is taking off.
Right.
Perks and all that. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I think the wrapped Bitcoin thing is interesting because it's basically just because Justin Sun is now in control of a large portion of the governance over wrapped Bitcoin. Maybe I don't know. I forget the news at this point, but I think everybody's just moving on that. And we don't talk about this enough in crypto, but there is a huge divide between the East and the West. And I think part of it, I was listening to some talks, some Ethereum talks, and part of it is because there's not enough translation of what's going on in Ethereum and Solana and different things to the Asian community. Like, they're 6 months behind on what their news is. So,
Hmm.
so it would make sense that they build their own products and that we don't use those products. It's like,
I see what you mean.
yeah. So there, and
I think
there's
it kind of would have defaulted to that anyway. Even right now, I just read news that there's a Chinese lab that is releasing a model to compete with or to rival GPT's, what is it, O1? The newest one. I
okay.
think the one that's still in development. And I can only imagine if we have a model, if the Western world has the OpenAI model and the Eastern world uses this Chinese parallel, it's going to be like the internet, where, technically we're all connected, but within China, for example, there's a lot of restrictions in terms of IP addresses and content that you can access. I suspect the blockchain networks will follow a similar path. We'll have that division between the East and the West.
Yeah, actually, it's interesting you say that because something I never hear people talking about on podcasts is like, how do we exchange value with countries like that, like with China and Russia? Like, do we still use SWIFT? Do you know what I mean? Like, do we use the same banking methods or do we
It's
have
split.
split?
It's split. The Western world uses SWIFT, and the Eastern world is developing the BRICS system.
Well, I mean, they're trying to develop the BRIC system to compete with the petrodollar, but what are they doing today, right now? And more importantly, we do business with China. So how do we do business with China?
Right.
Like, I think that's
Bitcoin
something.
might be the answer. Literally. Like, I don't know, maybe it's my hopium, but something like that is neutral. Right now, in terms of government holdings, the United States owns the most out of governments, but only by a slight margin, and then China's second.
Yeah.
So it's not even like it's still in a pretty competitive playing field position. It could be viewed as like the reserve safe conversion currency.
Yeah, yeah, in the future. I was
Yeah.
more talking about what are we doing today? Like, because we have trade
Mm.
with, we have active trade with China. And so, like, what I guess the point I'm getting to is that in the future, if Bitcoin or Ethereum or Solana or any of these things become global settlement layers, then at some point, I imagine there'll be a standard. But then it made me think, well, is there a standard currently? Are we all using Swift, or are they actually not on Swift? Are they, you know what I mean? Because I imagine there
I
has to
do know what you
be
mean. I don't know the answer.
some kind of wire that goes between, wire money transfers and wires that go
Yeah.
between.
Maybe it is everybody on Swift right now.
Yeah.
I guess I thought there would be an alternative, but maybe there isn't.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm going with it, is like if Swift is like the answer, then it seems like everybody would have to get on board unless you're just like not in you know what I mean? Like not in
Yeah.
the economy. Like I guess Iran isn't on Swift. Yeah. But
Yeah. Interesting.
that's something I want to look into now, because it's we just don't talk enough about this stuff, even amongst the podcasters that and the financial people that do talk a lot about money. They really don't talk a whole lot about how, like I've heard a lot about how China's economy works within China, but how do the US and China do business? Like how does the
It's
money
all about to
exchange?
change soon,
Yeah.
right? We know at least the minimum in terms of changes we know are coming is a 60% tariff. So it's good. It's going to change a lot because, yeah, we know prices are going to go up, whatever. But tariffs they're typically like a balancing mechanism. So if we put a tariff on, China may return fire and put a tariff on imports of U.S. goods. So that it'll be like a self-feeding loop of tariffs and fun. A lot's going to change. So we know for sure we've got I don't know, rocky at best foundation to start with.
Yeah,
I
and
wouldn't
that's
make any.
another weird thing about this bull market is like, it's running it's a very weird time for a bull market. Like because, and I guess you could say the same thing about 21, but 2021 was a very weird time too. But like right now we're like dealing with multiple wars. We are dealing with multiple countries going through financial crisis, if not the whole world. Basically, everybody's got some kind of financial crisis going on. But, we did have the yen breakdown earlier this year. And then China's having a huge housing crisis, from what I understand. That's very different from our housing crisis, but they're dealing with that, and it's a huge drain on their economy. So it's a weird bull run, and a lot of people would say that it's because of the Donald Trump win. And to be honest, like, I think that's definitely the fuel to it now, because that's what happened. But I was always of the opinion that whoever won, we were going to have a bull market. Like, I don't think for a single second that all the crypto people who were pro Trump were going to suddenly pull all of their money out of crypto because Harris won. Like, I think that
The tech is still there. The tech didn't change. The potential is still there in terms of the banana zone.
it would
Like,
be weird to sell all your bags just because you don't like a politician. Yes, I understand
right,
regulation might be coming, but like if you survived and traded through the last 4 years, there's no reason to think that you wouldn't survive and continue trading through the next 4 years. And then
right.
even if you did want to like prove some kind of point and dump for a while, you'd be back in when the rest of the bull was popping off, because this is the other thing, it's preordained. Like this is why Bitcoin is a cult, because every 4 years Bitcoin giveth. Okay.
Right? Cycle comes back around.
Like it is literally in the charts that every time we change presidents, Bitcoin reaches a new plateau. That's it. It enters a new zone on, on the charts.
Maybe that's a reaction to the hopium of uncertainty going away. Like, now we know who the president's going to be for the next gap.
So it's
We don't
three
have to
things.
be wondering.
And I want to put these in order of least to most important. The least important, and it's actually, I should put them in order. I'll put them in chronological order, and then I'll say which ones are more important. So chronologically, we get the halving. We get the halving the same year as a presidential election, which is number 2. We get the presidential election. And like you said, I do believe it's the hopium of a new, something good's going to happen. It's new. Things are going to be different. There's a shakeup. There's always money to be made in a shakeup, And then 3, ever since 2008, which also has the same birthday as Bitcoin, ever since the 2008 housing crash, we have a 4-year liquidity cycle. And now, in order of importance, the president is the least important. The Bitcoin halving is the second most important, but it's still just a meme. And the third is the liquidity. Because when you pump liquidity, the liquidity pumps in right after the election, right? Like, that's the cycle.
And it's going to flow to risky assets because that's where the quickest gains are to be made.
Exactly. So the liquidity cycle is really what's doing it. And I think that a lot of people just don't talk about any of this because you don't want to give up the bag. You don't want to give up the strategy. You don't want everybody to be doing the same thing. Because if everybody has the same information, then it has to change, And I mean, that's what people keep saying is, well, we know this to be true, so next time it has to be different. It hasn't yet.
It's, there's subtleties and there are variations on how things happened, or, we had to double down, or, but it's generally the same. Each cycle is generally the same. You know what to expect.
Right.
Which is nice.
You just got to be positioned and ready for it, and
just keep stacking sats
and not falling for the new hype cycle. Like, you know what? I don't get into a lot of things, and I feel like I've missed a lot of boats. I missed Bored Apes. I was there to watch Bored Apes go from $70, and I was like, why the hell would I buy this? And then it goes up to 80 ETH, and I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. But it was too late. But actually, had you not just gotten rid of that at 80 ETH, you are back down bad. And I hate to be, an NFT bear, but I don't think NFTs are going to pop this cycle. Like, maybe a little bit, but I don't think we're going to see 80 ETH penguins. I don't see we're going to see.
You're right. I think the meme coins are going to be, in terms of like how much work you have to put into it for the gain you get out of it, people are going to go to meme coins versus the NFTs. You don't have to manage a community. You don't have to manage artwork. You just create a coin, unleash it.
The problem with non-fungible tokens is they're non-fungible. Fungible tokens have liquidity. Non-fungible tokens, you're right back to an order book where you have to find somebody that wants to buy your ugly monkey. Because your ugly monkey is the only one like it. And if nobody wants that
Which is
ugly
fine.
Monkey... But what I'm saying is there's no liquidity. Like, you're not going to...
It shouldn't be...
Meme coins, you get a 1-to-1, everybody's getting the same price. There's no, like, your monkey's worth more than my monkey. We all got the same monkey. We all get the same fwog. Whatever. Not in meme coins either. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have a few that I've been holding since last cycle. I've still got some Shiba, some Doge. I mean, is Ghost a meme coin? It's not because it has utility, but I think that's the only memes I hold is Shiba and Doge, and not enough to make any life-changing gains. But
I'm mid-curving it. I'm gonna mid-curve it this time. I've got no memes, no dogs, no cats, no bonk, no.
But like I said, the problem here is like I missed all that stuff. I missed NFTs. I bought a few NFTs I didn't miss it. I definitely sold some NFTs. I bought some NFTs. I made my own NFTs. I like NFTs. It's not anything against them, but they're not the financial asset that meme coins are. And and the same thing with memes. I can't do it. I can't be like, you know, even if it seems like an obvious trade, it's just like so what.
Why? Like, really? Really? I have to do this to make money? And it's gonna go up? People want this? Every time I look at those are my feelings.
Yeah.
Am I hitting anything here? Like,
Yeah,
is
no,
that the
no,
reaction you get? Like,
I
why
feel you.
would
It's
someone?
like, yes, that it's exactly that. And I'm still kicking myself because I'm sitting here going, man, had I bought any of the memes throughout this little like between bowl cycles, had I bought any of the memes, like Whiff or Bonk or whatever, then like I could get out right now probably way up.
Yeah.
But it's hard to invest when you have no conviction in something. It's really hard to like, and that's why. It's also, I think maybe we're just too old. Like, because I see a lot of the memes and a lot of to be fair, a lot of this stuff is actually pretty like, um, what am I looking for? It's pretty offensive. Like a lot of it is built around like a lot of the memes and a lot of the culture around it is very sexist and racist and very, like when you get deep into the culture, it's very like 15-year-old it feels like. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So that's kind of part of it that I'm like okay that I'm missing because I feel like if I got in the trenches, then I would
Yeah,
just be
right.
like, this. I don't need to be in the trenches with kids at this point. You know what I mean? Like, and to be honest, like the bottom line is, if all you did for the last 4 years was buy Bitcoin, good for you.
Yeah.
Like you didn't fucking lose.
Yep.
You know what I
You
mean?
could you could pretty much have bought anything aside from ETH and be up right now.
Well, no, that's the truth. But what I'm saying is, you couldn't have for the last 4 years felt good about just buying anything, knowing that this was going to happen. Like, yes,
Mm.
we kind of know that it's going to happen, but there's always things that don't pop off, like Polygon. I've been stacking Polygon for 4 years. Why? What? Move. What
Right.
happened? You know what I mean? Like,
Move.
like I want to say that all of my like buys in the bear market were higher than what it is now. Like, you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
But
Like,
it might take another full cycle to get you out to break even. But hey, keep riding, keep riding.
so that's why all of this stuff is so hard and so weird. And I mean, to be honest, like I knew it's not like I was intentionally like stacking a bunch of Polygon because I thought it was going to be like a huge breakout investment. I thought maybe we'd see $2 again. I wasn't looking at it as like Polygon's going to hit $5. Like that's not where I was coming at it. It was more like, well, I use Polygon. I'm stacking Polygon. A lot of like meme coins that I did get airdropped a bunch of meme coins on Polygon, which I sold and a lot of those, and I bought and flipped a few more. But like, so I did play with some meme coins because basically they got dropped to me and it was like, okay, I'm in the meme coin game now. This is whatever. But I a lot of them only traded against Matic, so I ended up stacking Matic instead of putting it into USDC. I traded back to Matic,
Yep.
and now I'm like, I should have just stayed in the memes.
I hear you.
No, I'm joking because I want to say almost none of those memes are doing good, and the only one of them that I still even think about holding that I do hold is Bonsai. Like Bonsai is a good meme.
I've got some bonsai.
Actually, I do have Stardust, some Soju Stardust. So I
Oh yeah,
did.
same.
I
Same.
got.
I haven't interacted with that one, but I did get some airdrops.
I bought like I think you gotta have like over 1 million to vote or to like write a proposal. So I bought enough to write a proposal, but I don't have any proposals to write. I just did it just to do it.
Doing Web3 stuff. I like that.
You know, and I guess that's part of the meme thing too. I would buy memes if I felt like it would. You know, I guess I'm not part of the community. Like it was going back to like I can't vibe with the vibes of these communities, so it's just not, working for me. It's also that a lot of the most successful memes right now, there are Ethereum memes, but a lot of them are Solana memes, and the Solana guys, they just like to dunk on ETH all the time, and I'm like, y'all are first cyclers.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
like
Yeah, right.
like y'all are all
We're on
literally
more than one node.
like, I mean, dude, to be fair, like if you were in last cycle, you got wrecked on Ethereum layer 1 gas fees. Totally. I understand that, but anybody who kept talking about that post, like, I want to say 23, gas got down to 1 gwei. Transactions were like $1. Everything was under $1, maybe $2 if it was a complicated smart contract, But for the most part, everything was like $1, and everybody on Solana is full of crap when they say how cheap it is, because yes, maybe you're only paying 0.011, SOL for the transaction, but the slippage on every transaction is like $3 to $5. So like you would pay more for a transaction on Solana than you would on layer 1 when it was only 1 gwei. Now right now it's not 1 gwei, so you're paying a lot for transactions on Ethereum again. It's not cheap, and that's definitely another detractor. But people are full of crap. It's a lot of FUD trying to say ETH is dead, because ETH is literally what everything's being built
Very
on.
not dead. Very not dead.
Like, Base is the most popular layer 2. It's blowing up. I mean, there's just billions of transactions going on in the layer 2 ecosystem. And I think Ethereum is just it's a balloon being held underwater.
Ooh. Okay, I like that.
Yeah. It's got to pop. It's got to come up. You can't hold it down forever.
Right.
I don't know. What do you think? What do you think is really like keeping the price down? Because obviously, like, selling is what keeps the price down on anything, right? Like, people are selling.
Yeah.
Who's selling?
The Ethereum Foundation.
I mean, that was months ago. That's not like, or are they?
I thought they allocated like a steady sale over the course of a year to
Oh
fund
yeah,
their
you're right.
entire.
They moved it all at once, but it was like, yeah.
That pile is to be sold throughout the year to fund their operations. So there's definitely some push pressure, some down push pressure from the
Yeah.
Ethereum Foundation itself. But like, that's one seller. That can't be that much. And if it is, good. Get that shit out into the ecosystem so it's not in the hands of one seller. You know
I
what I mean?
want to say it was only. I thought it was only $1 billion that they pulled out.
Sounds like it may be right. I don't remember exact details.
I want to say that whatever they pulled out was like not that big of an amount of money considering what it was for. Like, I think a lot of other foundations spend way more money than that.
I wonder if it was a hesitation around like the proof of stake model, or I don't know.
I mean, a lot of people are saying it's because of the layer 2s and the bridging and all of that stuff. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too sophisticated a user to understand what, like, normies won't do. And in a way, I get it, because I don't like interacting with new stuff at all. And I don't bridge very often. I usually, I just use Coinbase for everything. Like, Coinbase lets
It's
you,
free.
yeah, it's free. It lets you move most assets in and out. Like, so I don't necessarily use it for bridging assets all the time. Like, I use Hop a lot. But, and honestly, like, even that, it's not, the worst part about bridging is the wait. like just waiting for your assets to land on the other side.
Hey, I got a story about a bridge.
Oh my god.
Synapse Bridge. Wouldn't recommend using Synapse Bridge. I will start by saying they did eventually refund me a one-time refund of my attempted bridge to ETH. I tried to go from ETH to Boba, so I could get some garbage off Boba and come back and be done with it. I have made literally every worst mistake choice you could make, every step of the way, with Boba, which used to be OMG, which used to be. Every step of the way, I did the wrong thing. Anyway, I made another wrong choice and decided to try to retrieve $15 worth of value from that chain. No. Bridge is supposed to take 7 minutes, right? So it doesn't take 7 minutes. I leave the tab open all night, come back in the morning, and it says, "Oh, you over the time by 900 and whatever minutes." So I take a screenshot and I get into the Discord for the bridge and say, "Hey guys, here's my situation. I bridged it. I've got the transaction confirmation for the mainnet side. There's nothing on the Boba side. No pending, no wallet address set up, nothing. It's like it just went into the east side pile, and that was that." So they said, "Yeah, the Boba bridge, we've pinged the devs. We'll let you know." 75 days later, "Hey guy, we want to just fix this. Give us a wallet address. We'll send you your ETH back." For 75 days, Bridge to ETH was just hanging out in their pockets, and they could have just did whatever they felt like. They decided to refund me, which I appreciate, but boy, that was a bridging process I will never, ever repeat.
Yeah.
Careful with your bridges, folks, especially to the obscure L2s.
Yeah, I mean that's the scary part about all of this. Obviously, is um, there's a lot of dependencies. You know, like everything is like we talk about it being trustless and permissionless. No, you are trusting everyone, and you have to sign permission to everything. So, like you sign every transaction, so you're giving permission all over the place. Um, that's why you have to go revoke that shit later. Um, yeah.
I think permissionlessness has been kind of misconstrued, misunderstood, misinterpreted.
Yeah, I'm definitely using it wrong in that way,
But you're not alone here, and I want to touch on this because this has kind of come up a lot recently. Permissionlessness is, I think, originally was anyone who wanted to participate could. It doesn't mean anarchy. It doesn't mean every fund is a slush fund that you can just reach into and everyone can permissionlessly pay themselves. It's definitely not anarchy. It's not do whatever you want because you don't have to ask anyone for permission. It's less of a, how do I even put words to this? It was meant to be participatory, opt-in, versus like there's no one person deciding whether or not you get to for their own subjective reasons.
right, exactly. It's
If you can
more
connect to
that
the
you
contract, go
can't
for it.
be.
Doesn't matter who you are or where you live.
It's opt in, but also that you can't be denied.
Yeah.
So.
You want to participate? There you go. Do whatever the contract says to participate.
Yeah.
But I think it extended beyond that into I'll do whatever I want no matter what because nobody can tell me what to do. It's permissionlessness.
Right.
Like, whoa. Follow that trajectory for a second. Where does that leave us? Like, where does society go on that trajectory? Let's try not to do that.
Right. Well, in this context, I'm just saying we're built on a lot of like for instance, if Coinbase suddenly stopped bridging all these assets, or
Suddenly
suddenly
it's not free. Or
oh yeah, I've heard it's not in Coinbase Wallet. I've heard Coinbase Wallet has some pretty high fees. And I mean, you've told me about Ledger. Like when you told me about
Ledger swap fees are insane. Do not use Ledger Live to swap assets.
yeah, dude, and I'm like, that's what I mean is like, so you're kind of you can't know everything about every tool all the time. So you think, oh, I'm gonna get a Ledger because this is how I should be doing things, and then like
Which isn't wrong.
Right. So, but then you decide to like swap within that ledger and you're just getting raked over the coals on fees and you don't know any better necessarily to say, all right, well, I need to swap elsewhere. I need to not swap through ledger swap. And also that's the other part is like you can just go to, through MetaMask, you go to any other, you can use Uniswap, you can use Odos or anything else. You don't have to use ledger swap. But like if you're
It's
not
convenient. If you're a normie and you don't know all these other tools, it's right there in the app. They're just
exactly.
charging you for that convenience, like your local gas station.
It's
That's
the
why it's
same
eight
thing.
dollars a gallon for milk instead of 3.
It's the same thing with like MetaMask swap. I've never used any of the MetaMask services. I use a MetaMask wallet, but I don't use their
No.
swap. I don't use their bridge. I don't use any of their stuff because the few times I've even looked at it, it was like extremely overpriced. And I was like, okay,
Swap's a
well,
little pricey.
yeah,
I
like,
used it just to use it, but it's not my go-to. Odos is my go-to.
yeah,
If
yeah,
I'm on
my,
a network that supports Odos, that's my first stop.
yep, absolutely. So yeah, like we haven't hit 100K yet, and who knows when it's gonna happen. I feel like it's full banana zone at that point.
We're almost there. We're almost there, and it will hit for sure. And I think like you said, Manazone will go from here into the hundreds of thousands of dollars range for a little while. And where do you think? What's your gut check blow off top this cycle?
For Bitcoin,
Yeah.
I don't think we hit 150. I think everybody wants it to.
Wow. Okay.
I think, and maybe we tap it, but that's it. Like a lot of, I'm not. I haven't been in this for long, but I remember from last cycle, like come March, everybody's going to be shouting some ridiculous crap about Super Cycle or something else. It's going to
Mm.
be people are already talking about a 250K Bitcoin. I think this is the problem, and this could be actually, this could be Ethereum's problem too. If the institutions are here, they're not going to let it run up to 1 million when they haven't fully allocated.
Hmm.
So if the institutions are here, they know how to manipulate markets. They know how
They'll be
to
suppressing to scoop. Hmm.
they know how to create volatility. They know how to shake you out of your coins. And to be honest, like it could even be a total psyop to have. I mean, okay, this is getting deep conspiracy, but it could be a total psyop to have Solana and memes popping off and having people literally shook out of their Ethereum and their Bitcoin because Bitcoin has a unit price problem. Like everybody thinks Bitcoin is too high, so they can't afford it. They don't understand. They don't understand you can just put money into Bitcoin and that money will go up. They think they have to buy a whole Bitcoin and they can't afford it. But
Yeah, a lot of people do.
even still, like even if you do understand that you can buy portions, like you're still not, it's hard to 2x your money on Bitcoin at this point because now it has to hit 200K to 2x your money. You know what I mean? So a lot of people are looking at it as like, yeah, it's a great hedge, but it's losing the vol to the upside. It's got all the vol to the downside, unfortunately. So I think as Bitcoin gets taller, it makes it harder and harder for a lot of people that are new to like look at it as the asset. So they're always going to go down the
Mm.
stack. And then if Ethereum is what everybody's actually building on, not XRP, like if people are actually building on Ethereum, then like they don't want Ethereum's price to run up too far before you can accumulate, or more importantly, like I don't even know if it's about accumulation at this point. Like so when we were talking about what's holding down the price, like if all of the institutions are staking already, not all of them, but if we know Coinbase is staking, Kraken is staking, if there's a lot of institutions staking, then they take ETH off the table regularly. They take it off quarterly. They take it off, like they have a schedule, just like you were talking about with the EF. So
Yep. They're
that
selling as they get their validator rewards.
people always thought that staking would not be sell pressure. And what I'm saying is, why wouldn't it be sell pressure? Like, this is literally free money. Why would I hold it? Like, what am I holding it for? Like, am I holding it to set up another node? And also, to be fair, like, what, 3, 4, 5% isn't even that great.
For
Like,
validator rewards.
yeah, like you're not getting, like, that could be part of it too, is that like staking is up, but the rewards aren't what you thought they were going to be because the amount of stakers on the network. So it's just everybody's selling. And especially like if you're deep ETH and all your bets are on ETH and now you're running validators and you are staking 32 ETH and you've got multiple, so maybe you've got hundreds of ETH locked up in stake. A, you're going to need profits, so you're selling as much as you can. And B, like when other things start to pop off, where are you getting your liquidity from? Like stakers are are just as hard up for cash as miners are.
Maybe less so though. The electricity intensity, the energy cost up front isn't
Yeah,
there.
that's true, but I mean, yeah, that's true for sure. Like the costs aren't there. They don't have to sell, but I'm saying they are. And if you're an institution, you do have to sell because you have to take profits. Like you're going to take profits on a schedule.
Yeah.
You know, you're not just going to stack ETH to infinity. You have to take profits because you're a publicly traded company and you've got to show things to the board every 3
Does
months.
MicroStrategy take profits?
I don't know if they do.
I don't either.
They might
I know their
only
stock
stack.
jumped.
I mean,
Like
I guess no,
the
you're
stock
right.
price went up like 20% after this last buy.
Technically, you don't have to take profits, but I guess. But like, what does Coinbase do with all of its stake? I mean, think about it. They're not just staking ETH. They're staking Cosmos, Tezos, uh, Matic, or
USDC.
Polygon. Yeah. I mean, USDC. No, they're not. They're not staking it. They're just giving it out. The USDC rewards on Coinbase come from Circle. Basically, Circle gives Coinbase X amount of the yield and says do what you will with it, and Coinbase gives it out as rewards. There
I
is,
see.
so like the
That
year,
makes sense. Incentivization to keep your USDC on their platform for liquidity, stability. I get it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is where the yield for the USDC on Coinbase comes from. But like the other things, the staking stuff, like what do they do with the stake that they don't pay out to users, that they, because they're not paying, because like
Yeah.
whatever the Ethereum stake is, they're probably paying me 1% less if you got your ETH on Coinbase, you
Got to
know.
cover your maintenance fees, make it worth your while.
Same
I
thing
wonder if
with
they're doing
like
any restaking.
Solana. I think Solana is like 6 or 7% on chain, but it's only 5% on Coinbase.
Hmm.
I don't think they're doing any restaking, or at least they're not offering it to their customers. But that's probably largely due to regulatory stuff. But
For
that
sure.
might be out of the window now. But
Really interesting to see what happens,
I
for
think
sure.
Coinbase will still play it safe because, you know, anybody
They
who,
always do. They're always on that, like,
well, they did
protect
just
the
start
consumer and
listing
be.
all the memes.
So did Gemini. But
Yeah. Gemini was
buy
already,
what you
they
want.
already had Pepe and other things, but like Coinbase wasn't listing Pepe for whatever reason.
Huh.
And it just like it Pepe hit and then all of a sudden it was like with Mudang, Peanut, the whole thing down the line. Like,
Yeah.
but I still think that like anybody who's playing a really long game is going to realize that like Trump only has 4 years, and if you step too far out of line, then you're just going to get slapped on the wrist with the next president, the next SEC. You know, you're just going to get yourself into
Maybe.
hot water if you still, like, even though you think regulation is going your way, you're not going to get there before the regulation does.
Maybe if you're also shutting down the regulatory bodies that would do that regulation on your way out.
Well, I'm saying if I'm Brian Armstrong, not if I'm Trump.
Ah.
If I'm Brian Armstrong, I'm not counting on any
I want
protections.
Coinbase to exist beyond a 4-year window, so this is do the safest thing always. Yeah,
Exactly.
I feel you.
Exactly. Don't do anything that's going to get my head cut off in year 5.
Yeah, don't do whatever happened to Juno.
Oh man. Yeah, I
Don't do
mean,
that.
that was a bear market blow up.
Quiet. I think it's quieter than it should be. It wasn't just Juno, it was a lot of fintech companies. Anyone banked under Evolve Bank and Trust, who I think is under Synapse. I'm tied up in the Juno thing. And they were supposed to do the disbursement this month.
That's interesting because I want to say one of my payouts from Voyager or Celsius. Oh no, yeah, it must have been Voyager. I think it came from Evolve. The second Voyager payout, I think, came from Evolve.
That makes a lot of sense. Your payout's coming from my FDIC insured checking account because they're not giving me my FDIC insured money back, which is really cool. They just arbitrarily decided that, like, we'll give you a 60-ish% because we just, I don't know, we can't track your funds down, so we'll throw a dart and here's your money back. Those are paycheck dollars. I can tell you where all the dollars came from. Bet you I can track them down. Why don't you let me track them down? You can give me what I track down.
Oh my god.
So there's a whole thing. Juno's pissed off. Juno's standing with the customers. They're trying to encourage, the grassroots. Contact your senators. Contact the regulatory bodies. Explain the situation. Juno doesn't even know what their customers are getting from Evolve. They have a Google form set up to collect this information from their customers. Like, would you mind sharing with us how bad you're getting raked over the coals?
And so this is
Sure thing.
still yeah, this is still part of the whole thing. Like so all of the collapses were intertwined. And it
Yeah.
was all
This was all on the banking side of it. The
right.
initial Silvergate crypto targeted.
So that's the thing that the SEC, not the SEC, but like I guess the Democrats or like the anti-crypto army, nobody ever came out and said this, but the whole reason the crypto bear market happened last time, which don't get me wrong, bear markets have to happen, but the whole reason it got harpooned was because they literally went after the crypto banks and told them you can't operate unless crypto is less than 50% of your customer base. And crypto at that point was probably like 95% of their customer base. So they basically forced a bank run that didn't have
Yep.
to happen. So all of
Crypto's
the
going to break the
consumers,
banking system. Let's break the banking system and blame crypto.
right, all of the
Fuck off.
consumers who were wrecked in FTX and Juno, Celsius, Voyager, Gemini, which actually everybody in Gemini made out because Gemini, the twins fought and they got everybody their money back. I think everybody in Gemini got 100% of their money back. But you still
Nice.
lost it for a year or more. So point being, all of that stuff was done by Elizabeth Warren and her cronies who said they were trying to protect consumers, but they literally caused consumers to lose their money. Like it was 100% their fault.
They falsified a reason for you to want them to fix a problem they created with the solution they want to fix it with.
Well,
It
that's
was
the thing.
fully manufactured.
No one voted for the anti-crypto army. Like regardless of if there's a vocal minority who hates crypto on the left or the right or whatever side it might be on. I mean, well, it's Elizabeth Warren's side, so it would have to be the left. So like even if there's a vocal minority that hates crypto on the left, they didn't tell Elizabeth Warren to do this. Like they didn't ask for her to do this. She took it upon herself to protect consumers by totally
Based on her donors' suggestions and
right.
yeah.
So citizens didn't decide this. It was totally just some bankers who decided, some politician class decided that they were just going to wreck the bankers, and it's still
You can tell she doesn't understand what she's talking about every time she opens her mouth about crypto.
yeah.
I can tell. when she's speaking about it, she doesn't understand the technology. She doesn't understand the potential. She doesn't understand anything beyond what seem like little spoon-fed tidbits. It's a casino. Say casino a lot. Casino, casino, casino. She's just not like understanding its value to people.
Right. Well,
Show
I
your
mean,
loss.
to be fair, because there's like that, I don't know, 12-year-old kid. Did you see this kid on Pump.Fun? Apparently, Pump.Fun has live streaming. So should we go make a meme coin? So Pump.Fun has live streaming, and you can like live stream while you're rugging people, because that's exactly what this 12-year-old kid did. He gets on a live stream, he makes a coin, he's got it pumping. Something, it gets up to like 30K, and this kid rugs everybody live on stream and is like throwing up double middle fingers, saying thanks for the 20 bands, and like just straight dips on these people. And dude, right. So like it is hard to convince people that crypto is real and has real use cases, because everything they hear about is a scam, and it's a casino, and it's Bored Apes and meme coins and Shiba Inu and a Doge, and now we got President Doge over here, and we've got the Department of Government Efficiency. It's just like,
how much noise? Just get on chain and use Aave. Everything is going to be fine.
just use Aave.
Just get on chain and use Aave. Everything's going to be fine.
It is so hard to convince people about the fundamental use cases for this technology when all... And the other part is because nobody talks about it. Nobody even wants to talk about it until Bitcoin comes alive. Because 2 months ago, I'm talking to my coworkers about crypto. Nobody cared. Matter of fact, that's the thing. Normies didn't
Shut
even...
up, nerd.
Normies didn't even notice the first half of the bull market. They didn't even know anything happened. They were, you know what I mean? Like, they didn't even notice. They slept right through it. Bitcoin hit a new all-time high, but not by much, a few $1,000s, but it topped last top just to say hi, and the normies didn't even hear about it.
Yeah.
Fast forward to November 9th, past that point, everybody at work has been talking about crypto. They're asking me all kinds of questions because they know I'm in it. I'm wrong. There was one guy at work who was asking me about crypto months ago. And I remember telling you, like, oh, the normies are talking to us. Like, it's happening.
Yep.
But it was
It's
one
coming.
dude. One dude. So he's like...
But those are canaries. Those are good. But when you start hearing them, it's like, okay.
Right.
The talk's spreading.
Right. And so now, like, everybody at work is talking about crypto. And I'm like, but that's the problem, is it's quiet for 3 years. And now that we're at new all-time highs, everybody wants to talk about it. And it's like, the time to be acquiring Bitcoin is the 3 years where nobody's talking about it.
This is celebration time. You already missed the bus.
Right. Like, and I mean, yes, if you plan to get in and get out, now's a good time. If you're a trader, now is a good time, because you could pretty much throw a dart at a board and you're going to go up unless you hit Ethermatic. You know what I mean? Or Ghost. Those three things are not moving. But yeah, like, everything's going up. So if you're a trader, now is the time. However, if you're a long-term investor and you actually want to get that, like, you know, look, it's like this. If you understand what's happening, even if, you know, like I said, even if we're only going to hit 150,000 Bitcoin this cycle, like, if you see 150K coming, now is time to put on weight. If you honestly believe 150K is coming, why wouldn't you buy now?
It's 50% upside.
Right. So, like, you're going to get your money out. You're going to get some profits out. But if you are long-term and you see where this is going and you think, okay, well, you know, and this is the Michael Saylor take, is like, Bitcoin is going to hit 1 million. So a $100,000 Bitcoin is 90% off. I mean, you know what I mean.
Yeah. If you're looking at it as a future Bitcoin, why would I wait for later to buy it at 1 million when I could buy it at 100,000? Yeah.
Right. So obviously your gains will be much bigger than 90%. But that's the point. If you see this thing as on a trajectory, then like the time to acquire it is in the bear market, you know? But yeah, how are you supposed to convince people this is important when the only time people want to talk about it is when it's exploding and when if they buy it they will get burnt? Like you are grabbing a hot potato and saying you're going to hold on. No. Like this is a hot potato, you buy it and you sell it because it's going to cool off. The question is, where is it going to be when it cools off? And according to the charts, it's never going to go below 75K again. The reason I say that is because historically it has never gone below the price it was on November 9th of an election year. If you look at November 9th of every election year, Bitcoin has never gone below that price again. As far as I know. Like, yeah, as far as I know, that's like a pretty factual thing. And even if it did, it was momentarily.
It would have been a touch,
because it came back.
The support would have held. Right.
Right. So my point being that like you can pretty much guarantee that you're never going to buy in below 75K. So if you look at it like that, if you're just getting into this, then 100.
Now's not a bad time.
100K is not a bad time. If 75K is the potential new bottom, then basically like you can wait for 75K in like mid 26. You know, that's probably when we're going to hit that mark again. We'll go back down to mid 75K Bitcoin.
But if you want to ride this ride, probably get on now. If you want to accumulate, wait till next bear.
Right. And the problem is if you don't get on, you won't be accumulating when it's quiet because nobody's going to be talking about it and everybody's going to be.
You won't know when. You won't have the alpha when it's time.
All of your friends will have gotten burnt and they would have told you how they got burnt and how they hate this shit and they want to get out of it and they can't get out of it because they'll lose 90% of the value because blah, 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 whatever. And then you're not going to buy at the bottom. You're going to look at 75K Bitcoin and go, ew, that's trash. I don't want that. And then you're going to wait till it's 150K and go, man, I should have bought.
I guess I should have.
I'm going to wait for a pullback to 120K.
When it looks like garbage again, because look how far down it came. Yeah.
Right. Like people, it really, like trading or just investing at all really is about controlling your emotions and your finances. Yeah. Like you have to make sure that the money you're putting in is money you're not going to need. Because if you're going to need that money, then you're going to capitulate. Yeah. At some point, you're going to be like, man, I need that money. And then you're going to sell at a suboptimal price. And so.
Yeah, if it was only at one point, if only it was 1 point that happened. Fuck.
Oh, man. I mean, I was there in the bear market. I was there a few times, like where you were looking at things and you're like, oh, man, you know what? I need the money more than I need this imaginary internet money.
Sucked. Yeah. But I mean, that was the reality of it. You know, I'm selling everything at the bottom because it's not popping off yet and I still have to live. Yeah. So liquidate. Oof.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, that's another reason Solana's winning is like the financial nihilism. Like Bitcoin has it locked on like the lifeboat. If the whole world is dying, Bitcoin is the lifeboat that you're going to, you know, if all of fiat is dying, Bitcoin is the lifeboat that all countries can get on and get out. Right. Solana is the opposite. It's the 25-year-olds and younger just saying, money doesn't mean anything. There's not going to be anything available for me. This planet will probably be dead before I'm old. And, like, none of this matters. So I'm just going to buy dog coins. I'm just going to buy...
one big bucket.
Right. It doesn't matter. And so that's why Ethereum is not doing well. Because Ethereum is an optimistic future. Ethereum is saying, hey, we're building the future rails of finance that everybody's going to want to do. their internet games on. They're going to want to do all of their DeFi and all of their transactions on this. And we're seeing it because Coinbase is doing it, Kraken is doing it, BlackRock is doing it, and
And the big players are going, my internet games, my internet money, and they're setting up their fences and their ecosystems, and the other half's going, what do you mean finances? Fuck this. None of that's for me. This is a shit show at a casino, and they're just pulling levers and pushing buttons.
and the only
Man,
reason
yikes.
Solana is popping off is because all of the investors in FTX and Alameda and Solana are trying to get their money back somehow. And so they need Solana to survive. And the only activity Solana has is meme coins. Like,
They need stuff to go off so that they can exit. They can recoup some of their losses with the dumb shit profits.
yeah. And I really think that like I I don't understand why Solana is number 3. Like
It's just next.
it's just next because Solana, and that's what makes me wonder is like what will usurp Solana? What will actually make Solana number 4? You know, like what will and
Probably an Ethereum L2. Seriously, do you think it is more likely that it would be an ETH L2 than like competing L1? Do you see Avalanche taking that spot, or do you see Base taking that spot?
and it should be base. However, I think that because of the VCs and because of the financial nihilism, that the L1 trade is not over yet. That we are going to, like, the same way, like, the L1 trade is not over. Like, there's going to be more L1s. Like, just today on the timeline, I saw they're saying Avalanche is set to pop off. You know, like, every dog is going to have its day. And then at the end of the market, like, there's going to be something that stands alone, you know, and that's kind of what happened with Solana. Like,
What was Solana's standing point? That's a good thing to.
well, I mean, recovering from the FTX thing is pretty amazing, but I think honestly, Solana's standing point is the fact that it was SVM. Like, all of the other competing L1s were pretty much EVM. And so, like, why would they be able to compete through the bear market with all the L2s coming out? Because
Right.
Optimism and Arbitrum launched in the height of, like, in what, 23, like very beginning of 23, like, or was it even the beginning of 22? Like,
That
they,
feels more.
either way, they launched in the bear market. They launched when shit was bad, you know what I mean? And so, like, for them to have gotten all that traction and all that, like, growth in the bear market was like obvious that, like, you know, I mean, in a way, like, they stole, if there was an Avalanche and whatever other crowds, like, why wouldn't they go to Optimism and Arbitrum, you know? A lot of those people probably used Ethereum enough to get some kind of airdrop, you know, maybe they bridged to Optimism and Arbitrum and they got some OP and some ARB and then they ended up using the chain, you know? I don't know. But I just don't think there's anything special about Solana. Like, that's
Me either.
like, I don't, when I use it, I don't feel like it's a better experience than any L2. I don't feel the speed everyone talks about. Like, I feel like a lot of this stuff, people are like, oh, it's so fast and performant. And it's like, it doesn't feel any different than using base. It doesn't feel any different than using ARB. I don't feel any difference when I click that button. So anybody who's
So if the
saying they
user
do,
experience is the same on multiple networks, it's going to come down to ecosystems,
right? And
compatibility.
Ethereum has the ecosystem,
Yep.
and like ETH being a liquid asset on all of these chains is good for ETH. Now, another reason we might not be seeing a lot of movement in ETH is because if you only need $1 to do hundreds of transactions, then people don't need to buy ETH for gas money like they used to. Like you don't have to
True.
keep gas money in your wallet like you used to. Like even now I'm so scarred from the last bear that like I pretty much keep at least $100 of ETH in my gas. Like you gotta have at least 100 in the tank, just in case.
Yeah.
It's
Just in case that NFT mint goes off and you
I
don't
don't
have time to
know,
gotta do it now.
but like if you're on any other layer too, like you only have to have $5 of ETH, and even that's a lot. $5 of ETH is gonna be for you. That's gonna last you forever. If you're using Base or Optimism or any layer two, it's all a penny.
Pretty reasonable.
So I guess there's just not a lot of purchase for that reason.
If it's looked at, I guess, as only gas value.
Well, no, that's just what I'm saying. That's a potential. I'm just looking at those values. Like, so if I'm not looking at it as an investment, and I'm not, you know what I mean? Because like,
Not staking, yeah, not looking for the yield.
yeah, like if you're looking at it as an investment, you're going, ETH's not a great buy right now. Like you're looking at Solana and you're looking at meme coins. So that might be it. It just doesn't have a good like it's just boring. And I hate to say that because to me it's useful. But we talked about this a lot in past episodes. It's like as soon as something has utility, it's only worth exactly what it's worth. And Bitcoin is still just speculation. Like Ethereum is just too damn useful.
Yeah.
And like we're like, oh, just use Aave. Like, dude, 25-year-olds aren't impressed with Aave.
You don't have to be impressed. It's objectively better in every way. Like, if it's an impression thing, what do we need? Flash animations? What the fuck? Like, do you want to take a loan out for $1,000, or do you want to pay $0? Okay, that one's easy for me. Like, do you want to have a minimum monthly payment or not? That one's easy for me. Do you want to be able to access it any day, anytime, anywhere, regardless of if it's Sunday or after hours or a banking holiday, which are different from actual holidays, but you can't access it on any of those days anyway? Fuck that.
But
Fuck
that's
the
what
whole
I'm
existing
saying.
system.
None of that matters if you're a financial
Why?
nihilist. Because
I guess if that's the piece, yeah, damn.
that is what's
That's
happening.
a problem, though. If everyone under 25 is a financial nihilist, not wanting to use Aave and not getting into crypto is the least of our problems.
I mean, the other thing I missed out was Frentech. That popped off. Like, I was like, this is such a pyramid scheme. This is
I
like.
called that bullshit from the start. The whole, like, I called it out. It's literally leveraging the social network value of your friends, pumping and dumping your friends' social value. Like, no, that's bad. We're already pumping and dumping our friends' financial value with our meme coins and our whatevers, but literally trading on the value of their personality and their network and their reach and their skills. Like, the whole thing felt rotten from the core. Plus, it felt like a Ponzi scheme. I didn't touch it. I will still won't touch it.
No, I didn't either. I even got invited, and I was like,
Yes.
Yeah. But my point just being that like that's what this cycle's been about. Frentech, memes, like we,
Which I guess is good. We're trying stuff.
I mean, last cycle we had art and NFTs, so it felt like we were like that's why I got in. It was like I was looking for a place to release music, and then I start reading about NFTs. I start getting into NFTs, and I'm like, hold up, this whole financial ecosystem is powerful. And that's when I got into Aave, and that was what to me was like, this is amazing. Like, yes, I want to be able to sell my music in this new format, but what I do with the money I get from selling the music is more important. What I do with the ETH and what I do with the USDC that I get, that's more important. That's actually where I got a lot of my Matic too. I sold a lot of music. Got a lot of Matic for it, so that is all utility, it's all valuable. And now it's just like this, this bull is just like it's bull. It's just literally bull. It's like, oh, we're just gonna go
Hmm.
right back to memes, and all we have is a bunch of like, there's no utility. And a lot of people say this is because like all the utility tokens, all the governance tokens, none of the fee switches have been turned on because of regulation and all this other stuff. And it's kind of like the meme is that like crypto's important. That is the meme. Crypto's not important. It's actually just a casino.
Hmm.
That's the meme. Like all your governance tokens, all this bullshit, it's all a joke. Like if you honestly believed that your Uniswap tokens were going to give you fees, you are the idiot. You should have just bought Mudang. Although supposedly
Yeah.
Uniswap coin holders will get fees now because of the Unichain. Not fees from the Uniswap protocol swap fees, but they will get some kind of revenue kickback from activity on Unichain.
What is that? A new L2? Never heard of it.
Oh, you didn't hear? Uniswap is dropping a new chain.
Is it an
Unichain,
L2?
it's a generalized L2. Yes. People keep calling it an app chain, but it is not an app chain because it doesn't replace all the many instances of Uniswap. It's just their own generalized layer 2 that people will be able to deploy to like anything else. Yeah. I mean, I guess once interop comes, it'll feel more like, I don't know, Uniswap Island, but I don't really. Yeah.
Interesting.
It's really just so that they can like control the MEV themselves, and I think that's how they pay back to uni holders is through the MEV.
Interesting. Okay.
Yep. All very crazy and interesting stuff. Yeah. I don't know. What else you want to get into? Let's wrap this one up, and we'll pick it up next week when Bitcoin's actually hit 100K. This was just like the
Are we
warming
accidentally
party.
starting a new series? Just a rando series? Could. I don't know. I like that there's no prep. There's no real lift. There's no. It's just casual shooting the shit. It's comfy.
Yeah. I mean, especially if there's
Fire
things
that
you
off
hadn't heard
anytime.
about, you know?
Yeah. I learned some things. I for sure learned some things.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of other stuff we can get into, but a lot of it to me, like, obviously a lot of it's already been talked about. You know, a lot of other people, if you listen to crypto podcasts, you probably hear about this. That's my problem is I listen to a lot of crypto podcasts and I'm like, people all talk about the same crap. Everybody's all talking about the same stuff. It's like, so it
It's
really
news.
gets to a point where you're like, well, I don't really need to listen to all the crypto podcasts. I can just listen to the ones that I like the
Pick one or
people.
two you like.
Yeah, because like y'all are all going to talk about it, and the chances of the opinions, like people's opinions do stray, and that is what's good about it is hearing different opinions on the same subject. But you really don't get very good news from any of them because they're all just kind of giving you the headline. Even like what we're doing, we're not giving you really
Yeah.
great in depth.
A bit of the headline and a bunch of editorial.
Yeah. So, um, yeah. So I guess it's kind of boring to me to like want to go. Like I don't need to talk about goat and whatever. I don't know. It's kind of that's actually a whole thing on its own. Is just talking about like what is the AI agent meta and is this about to be the new meta and is it even real or are people about to just like pretend they have AI agents and it's really just another meme coin? Like
Hmm.
goat might be like the token itself was not made by an AI agent, but the AI agent involved in buying goat seems to be legit. It seems to be like this is a legit AI agent and everything around it sounds legit. But I think that there's going to be a large a pantheon of AI agent coins that come out that are actually just controlled by a person. Like there's actually not an AI behind it.
I think that. Yeah. Well, yeah. Because I mean, we had chatted about this, and you had mentioned the seed phrase. Even if an AI is given a wallet, a Bitcoin wallet or whatever, a crypto wallet, is the AI the only thing that knows its seed phrase? Or did a human set that up and now also has access to this AI's seed phrase?
Right. Yeah, because even then, like, yeah, unless an AI has access to the internet and is able to create its own seed phrase and like,
And secure it,
right, and
encrypt it
like,
within its own code so that viewers can't access it.
right, like, how do you stop the person who's running the AI agent from accessing the seed phrase? Like, unless it's that smart, but they're not that smart yet. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, there's definitely human involvement in all of these things. And I guess yeah, like let's see what happens over the next week. It's gonna be Thanksgiving next week. I got a lot of time off, so I'd love to catch up with you again,
Yeah.
and yeah, we'll see if Bitcoin hits 100K. We'll see what the next, we'll see if ETH can hit 4K. I mean, we have not even seen our all-time high for ETH yet. Like, but ETH did tap it in the last bull run. I just don't know what's holding us up right now because like ETH did get above 4,000 in
I,
the earlier 24 run.
I think it's liquidity. I think right now the liquidity is all playing on Solana. They'll come back. They're pumping and dumping. It's the same. It's the same model as it always has been. There was Bitcoin, and there was like 20 altcoins. Then there was like Bitcoin and 20 altcoins and a million NFTs. And now there's Bitcoin, 20 altcoins, a million NFTs, and everyone and their fucking grandma starting a meme coin. So it's just spreading everywhere. It'll all come back.
Yeah. I guess
For
that's
now,
the
we wait.
play. Rotate into ETH. I don't know. All right. Well, thanks for joining us at From A to Z, and we will see you again soon.
Whenever.